told our players. You need to be more like a dog.
If the referee throws the flag.
Teens4TN.com.
Hello, happy April 1st to everybody out there. I'm Griffin. I'm going to break down the Final Four and share my predictions with you about what I think is going to happen in these 3 final games. There are 4 teams left in college basketball this year, and they're not the 4 teams that many of us picked while filling out our brackets, and they're certainly not the 4 teams that I picked. In fact, I was surprised to even get one of my teams in the Final Four, and that's who we're going to start with, the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville was the #1 overall seed on Selection Sunday, and they have proved to this point to be worthy of that, as they are the only #1 seed still in play. Louisville has pretty much rolled everyone in the tournament. They've won all 4 of their games by an average margin of 21.8 points. The only exception would be their game against the 12 seed Oregon in the Sweet 16, in which they only won by 8. They most recently beat Duke by 22, who many people had as their national champion. Louisville has seemed strong up to this point, and we will see how they do against our next team, the Wichita State Shockers. Now, Wichita State is only a 9 seed, but don't count them out. They've knocked off the #1 seed, Gonzaga, and the #2 seed, Ohio State, in their bracket, in their region. Greg Marshall is a tremendous coach. He's doing a terrific job. The thing that makes me nervous about Wichita State is that they gave up a 20-point lead against Ohio State and only won by 4. Louisville has a phenomenal backcourt. They've got Peyton Siva and Russ Smith, 2 of the best guards in the country. If you were watching the Louisville-Duke game, you might have seen the Kevin Ware injury, in which his leg snapped in half. It was a gruesome injury, and I don't want to go into the details. When asked about it after the game, Louisville coach Rick Pitino got choked up about it. The whole Cardinals team is very emotional about Kevin Ware's injury, and will be wanting to win a national championship for him. I think that this emotional power that they have, this passion, and their talent pushes them on. In the end, Louisville's a 1 seed, and Wichita State is only a 9 seed. And although I wouldn't be against the Shockers winning by any means, Louisville was my national champion, and I still think that can hold true. The other game in the Final Four, we have the Syracuse Orange versus the Michigan Wolverines. Now, Syracuse knocked off the #1 seed Indiana and the 3 seed Marquette, 2 very good teams, and you have to credit that to Syracuse's defense. They've done a tremendous job all year with their defense, and they play in the Big East, which is one of the best conferences in college basketball. So they're not shy of taking on tough teams. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have Michigan, who has a great backcourt with Tim Hardaway Jr., Trey Burke, and Nick Stauskas. I think Trey Burke is one of the best players in the country. He was clutch, hitting a 3 against Indiana to send it into overtime. He hit a clutch 3 against Kansas to send it into overtime. Michigan absolutely demolished Florida, beat them by 20 points. At the end of the game, they emptied their bench and got all those seniors and walk-ons in to get a chance to play. And Florida's not a bad team, so I think you have to give a lot of credit to Michigan for that. The Wolverines this season are 17-0 against non-conference teams. They'll be looking to extend that, playing Syracuse in the Final Four. Michigan from the Big Ten, another big conference, and Syracuse from the Big East. It'll be an interesting matchup between 2 great teams from great conferences. The thing that gets me about Syracuse is that, as I said, Michigan's backcourt is great. Trey Burke can nail shots, so can all of those guys. Syracuse is going to have a hard time guarding those guys in their 2-3 zone, because Michigan is going to be able to hit the outside shot, and that's going to force Syracuse to change their defensive scheme around the Michigan backcourt. Michigan was #1 in the poll at one time this year, and being the 4 seed in the Final Four, they can prove that they deserve to be #1. That they can prove that they deserve to win a national champion. So I think the Wolverines win this one. Now we're talking about a potential Michigan versus Louisville national championship game. It's going to be a fantastic matchup of guards. It would be an exciting, high-scoring game. I would look forward to that game. And I am looking forward to that game if that happens to be the case, if those two teams happen to make it. It's going to be very intense. It's going to be a lot of high-scoring action. There's going to be a lot of shooting. There's just great players on both sides. I think in the end, the Louisville Cardinals will prove themselves. They were good enough in the regular season to achieve that overall #1 seed. Michigan has lost to several decent teams this year. They beat several good teams as well, but I don't think either team has showed true dominance during the regular season. And I think that's just kind of how college basketball was this year. You didn't have that one great team that just blew everyone out. Anybody could beat anybody, and I think you've seen this in this tournament with Florida Gulf Coast making it to the Sweet 16, with LaSalle making it to the Sweet 16, with Wichita State making it to the Final Four, Ole Miss making it to the Sweet 16. You've had a ton of upsets, craziness. 3 #1 seeds lost before the Final Four. It's been a crazy year in college basketball, and it's been capped with this crazy March Madness tournament. They call it March Madness for a reason, and I think that you'll see that this Final Four. I'm Griffin, thanks for watching. Hey guys, if you liked that video, hit the like button. And for more, you can go to my website, Teens4TN. That's the numeral 4, teens4tn.com. You can also follow at Teens4TN on Twitter, like Teens for Tennessee on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to contact me, the best way is to email me at teens4tn@gmail.com. teens4tn@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and go Vols.